Generation Select Zatar is an absolute weirdo, and I think that's pretty much why I love him. He's got this unmistakable identity about himself, with his giant claw hands, and his massive funny drill head, and... okay, before I get ahead of myself here, I can't talk about Zatar without first talking about his distant cousin, Drill Dasher. So, in 1984, if your mom was cool enough to mail away for a Power Dasher transformer, you might have gotten, well, any of these three bots, actually. They were all given the blanket name Power Dasher. Now, you're not seeing things, this is definitely G1 Zatar, but he wasn't formally given the name until, I don't know, like 31 years after his release, when it was bestowed upon him in a Facebook Q&A called Ask Vector Prime. How unceremonious is that? Now, despite these troubled beginnings, he's actually a pretty great G1 toy. The Power Dasher name comes from his pullback motor, which was a feature that was shared among all three of the Power Dashers. Rumor has it that him and his Dasher brethren were some of the first ever Cybertronian alternate modes in all of Transformers. It would explain this weird, if a little ambiguous, drill tank he's got going on, with his big giant chrome drill bit at the front and, what is this, 3, I don't know, maybe even like 5 unique types of wheels he's got for some reason. I'm not sure how efficient that drill is going to be when 70% of it is blocked by the frame at the front. Behind that, he's got a chair for a pilot he never came with, and a silly little upside-down Autobot badge, which is necessary, so it's the correct orientation when he's in robot mode. Transformation on this guy is incredibly straightforward, and the robot mode is exactly what you'd expect. It is the vehicle mode, unfolded, and standing up. See, the Autobot badge is the right way now, I told you. Not much is revealed in the way of new detail here. I really dig his big, solid fists, and I really don't dig his weird, backwards legs. I would have liked to see the detail make its way to the front somehow, but you take what you can get when it's 1984, I guess. Otherwise, I love how this dude looks, all the way up to his, thankfully, still there, sticker face. He's pretty limber for a 1984 bot, you know, with full knees and elbows and hips, and heck, he's even got some outward movement at the shoulders. He's not going to pull like a JoJo pose or anything crazy, but he does beat out Optimus Prime, which is pretty impressive considering he's half his size. Alright, history lesson over. We can put the old man away, and we can switch gears onto Zatar's contemporary release. 2019's Generation Select Zatar is a recolor and a minor retool of the War for Cybertron Siege Brunt figure that was released in the same year. Immediately, you'll notice that this version of Capital Z has a much more, how do you put it, heroic bodily proportions with his super wide shoulders and his massive arms. The big fists have been traded out for big ol' clampy claws. And hey, check it out, they actually managed to put the detail on the fronts of the legs this time. Even though he's pretty much just a new head on a totally unrelated body, Zatar fits the Brunt mold super duper well, with some details like the sides of his thighs having incredible accuracy to the original. One of the best upgrades on the modern version is, believe it or not, he's got a 3-dimensional face this time. Tons of paint apps up there too, turning that old retro sticker head into something really worth celebrating. I do miss the chrome on the drill of the original though. Zatar's Articulation gets all of the benefits of modern engineering. There isn't anything here I'm left wanting in that regard. He's got, ankle tilts, universal shoulders, universal hips, claw articulation. Maybe I wish he could, look down? He can look up, if you fudge this transformation joint a little bit. Other than that, his robot mode is incredibly agile, which is appreciated on someone with such big, chunky, blocky limbs. Now, I think I'm better off talking about Zatar's Weaponizer potential before talking about his transformation, since they tie into each other so closely. As previously mentioned, Zatar is a Weaponizer. This means you can just rip him to shreds and utilize him with other figures as equipment and weapons and accessories. It's all 5mm port based, and is mainly intended for use with other bots released in the War for Cybertron toy line, since they are absolutely covered in 5mm ports. I'm super into this weapon system. It's really versatile, and the options are pretty much limitless for what you want to do. I've got Sunstreaker here with me from Earthrise to show you some configuration examples. So how about we do this one where he's like a manned turret that Sunstreaker can stand behind. If that's not your thing, we can turn Zatar into a giant backpack mining machine with some foot stabilizers, if that's your jam. Or here, how about this? Just a full nuclear-powered orbital strike configuration with foot stilts. Like, there's really no upper limit to whatever you want to do with it. It's pretty great. You can also get, I don't know, like another Weaponizer on the go, or even a Fossilizer. Smush those together, make whatever horrible techno-organic abominations your heart desires. Like I said, no upper limits here. Well, that was fun. Let's move back onto just Zatar himself again. So, to get him into vehicle mode, you'll have to start by tearing him apart into nearly every individual piece, putting them back together to form this monster drill tank with this galactic-sized cannon on it. I'll be honest, this is the weakest part of the figure for me. It's the part that really shows that Zatar was not the intended character for this mold. Here, I'll put another comparison up to show you. It's perfect for what Brunt was trying to accomplish, but it just isn't Zatar. I'm glad they got the drill at the front, at the very least. The best part of them being a weaponizer means you can kind of dismantle them and turn them into your own vehicle mode. I don't know if this is much better, but it's an option. Sadly, this is just one field that the 1984 bot excels in more than the modern one. This was just never meant to be a drill tank. On its own merit, it's a pretty neat and unique vehicle. I don't know, I like the big aggressive front bulk of it. I just wish it was more accurate, I suppose. Now, at the end of the day here, don't let my distaste of his vehicle mode dissuade you. Zatar is a really great and complete feeling package. He's great with a friend to become equipment for, but it's nice that he can also be enjoyed on his own merits. There's something really charming about seeing the modern version standing with the original. They nailed that Tonka Tough yellow and black deco on them. It's always a joy seeing a weird, obtuse, or even forgotten character just come out of nowhere and get an incredibly faithful, modern reimagining. Zatar isn't my favorite weaponizer. That honor would go to Earthrise Fast Track. But that doesn't mean Zatar isn't an absolute treat. He's great. I mean, so long as you can deal with that kind of weird vehicle mode. My biggest takeaway from Zatar here is that, you know, if the Power Dashers can get a Generations figure in modern times, then the good news is that no one is potentially free from getting a wonderful, modern Generations update. You know, even the fans of, like, I don't know, Sky Gary might finally get their day where they get a fresh serving of modern Gary goodness. But until then, we got this. The colors of a cat and drill for a hat. Generation selects Zatar.